Good morning, everyone. So it was a busy night, mostly practical stuff, not much research or science, but practical stuff. I should hold a small, I will say, lecture or presentation regarding my current new theories. Not much actually to see. Maybe I'll have later today or tomorrow because I'm going to return to microscopic work and release new videos. You see, by the way, here, I mean, the group of people, they climbed like the building where I, in front of the balcony. I will explain in a little while the context. There's always a context here. Anyway, so yes, there is some advancement in theory, especially regarding the Neros, and more particularly the issues with energy, theoretical issues regarding energy. But I'll postpone that to later today, I think. What's more important now is just, to connect a little bit of a summary regarding the situation where I stay now, my mother's apartment, and in a larger scope, to a larger, maybe a length of my entire life even, but especially the last couple of years. It should be said because, even though, if for everyone who follows me, these things will already be known, but, maybe a lot of people, they don't really understand the gravitas of the situation. So I will put it into words. So let's start from the end, and we'll go back for backward in time. So what you see here is a group of people that supposedly I should believe that they are assassins or some bullshit like that, because as you know, according to the latest show, everything is just a show. They are all a bunch of impotents. Without a dick, without balls, without kids, without any joy in life besides putting on shows, ridiculous shows. So the latest show is that, Caperucita Roja, a little red hood that I'm supposed to, as you've seen around the house, my mother walking with red scarf, and Shaul is putting red hats all over the place. So let it be known that, now they are really angry at me because I've crossed the line. There was a moment in my life where they didn't take the Israeli state and the people didn't take the maximum that they can. They're bargaining with me. Okay, now you've had it enough. And it's so stupid. You cannot do anything like assassination because you want the juice. Because without the juice, you will have no eggs, and without the eggs, all of you will die. So, why are you putting the show? All you can do is just torture me like you kill you all my life. But you cannot kill me because you will all die. And it's not that difficult to understand it, because otherwise I would be dead long ago. So torture is the agenda. It will continue to be the agenda. But it's very important to hold the show. And let me explain the meaning of the show, because there are many nuances here. So you know that I had an accident last August. That was not my fault, and my claim is that it was someone that irresponsible truck driver. Anyway, I had to move here to my mother's apartment for a while, and she gladly had me here. And here I went through tortures, horrible tortures, physical torture that I've already described, and mental torture all day long. Mental and physical tortures. Of course, all, coordinated by Shaul, the captain that is married, the pedophile captain married to my mother, and the mother itself, which, has a long history that I will, with the service of starting the Mossad, and later the Shabak, and later, like all the Israelis, whoever. Hi. חתיכת חרא קטן. אז, so, where were we? So, of course they get money for, every night that I'm here, because, people in abroad are reimbursing, every piece of shit in Israel that is doing anything, in my favor, they get money for it. And it's like, for many years, probably since I was born like that. But it's many years that situation. And I cried. I literally cried. I walked many times on the Yukon River near many embassies, and I cried, stop this. Stop. If you can't do anything at all, stop paying the Nazis. Stop paying the Nazis. I've cried and I've yelled many times. Stop paying the Nazis. Maybe a year and a half now that I'm doing it, until my arrest. I literally walked on the Yukon Street, not the Yukon River, the Yukon Street, where many embassies, the important embassies like the Russian embassies, the British, the French, of course the American, the whatever, the Chinese, and literally yelled, stop paying the money. Every cent is another nail in my cross, another wood in my auto de fe. I literally yelled, stop paying the Nazis. Stop reimbursing them for torturing me. And I've said it many times before, this is one of the greatest crimes of the international community. This money, this blood money. So they tortured me here. And 3 months ago, they got what they wanted. And I slipped my tongue doing it Twitter. And my claim is that I'm completely innocent and you will be the judge of that. In any case, even if everything according to the police is correct, it's amazing that I'm still under arrest. 3 months later, a man without any criminal record, which has done something that is, even if you've done it, like it's all like a matter of interpretation. According to my interpretation, I'm completely innocent. But I mean, even according to the most severe interpretation, it's amazing that I'm still under arrest. It's not amazing at all. It's part of the plan because every piece of the Israeli government and society is part of the torture system and the slavery. So after 16 days in arrest, which was amazingly cruel, the judge said, okay, you can go to house arrest, but where? And the only people that actually volunteered to accept me are my mother and her husband. So what else could I have done? I said, okay, I'm here. And since then, they do everything they can to exercise the plan of the Shabak regarding me. With more and more cruel steps and behaviors. Of course, torture, physical and mental, is always there. Of course, always the pressure that I will just run away and I don't know, will not stand, will not comply with the terms of my arrest. So the police can arrest me again, all the time. And of course, always, the most important thing, severe pressure from my mother, you must admit. Because this is the most important thing, from the aspect of the Shabak, from the own view of the Shabak, that I will admit that I will close the case with me admitting doing a plea or a bargain. Because it's incredibly important for them that I will admit, that I will say that I'm guilty of something that I'm not. For a couple of reasons. First of all, they still need to hold the charade in front of the international community. The charade! The disgusting charade. And this is also this is also something that the international community is guilty of. Why do you even speak with these people? Why do you speak with the Israelis? Any word is a sin. But in their view, they need to hold the charade. That they are treating me right. And if I will admit, it's all fine. He admitted everything is okay. We didn't treat him cruelly. He admitted. But they have more reasons, like they want to keep me in Israel. They want to do all sorts of stuff to me that, presuppose that I will admit. So that's my mother's, main goal is for me to admit. I will remind you, this all happens while she gets money from the international community for this hospitality, for this hotel. For every meal, for every night of torture, physical torture, and of course mental abuse, unheard of, and I have nowhere to go. And at a certain point, she even hold maybe a month ago, a disgusting thing. She actually asked the judge. She wrote a plea to the judge that she want to cancel this whole thing. So we went there, and he told me okay, so you're going back to prison, which means that for a year now I will be in prison, and I will without even a trial, no way to get out of there. And I knew that it's the case. So I asked her, politely as possible, maybe you can get outside, and that's exactly what the whole charade was intended for. So I will speak to her, and she prepared a list of 6 terms that she told me you must agree now for the 6 terms if you want me to keep you in. One of the most important one that I will rent apartment in Rishon LeZion and move to this apartment with her because I must be with her because it's the term of the arrest. Now, where will your money get? I mean, and she will pay for the apartment. So I said, of course I agree. I mean, what? I mean, the other option is to me, like, I mean, going straight to jail for a year. I mean, without trial, and of course without seeing my daughters again for a long time. Of course, she's not that kind. The money would have come not from her, but from other people. She will be the mediator, and according to this psychosis of the Shabak, she will be my operator or some other disgusting term which means that I'm under her control, or disgusting power fantasies that every piece of shit in Israel harbor. They will control you, they will, do whatever you want, you will do whatever, because they psychologically did their magic to you, and now you're under their control. That's the power fantasies that people that are the scum of the earth harbor. And this is all funded by the international community. Of course, I did not rent any apartment because I knew exactly what are the terms. The idea is to be a whore for the Shabak, to have sex with any man and woman that they choose in this apartment that is paid by the Shabak through my mother, the operator. I understood it very well because I already, it's not the first time, they tried to do it many times before. And I understood very well, what they want me for and what my purpose in life according to their agenda. It's not that difficult to understand it. They want the semen for the horse, for the Titan horse, because 2 reasons. Why? First, it's help them with the changing of the form, that is very important for them for intelligence reasons. And second, because it cycles them, it creates eggs, and they like to eat the eggs. And I don't know, to this day I don't know for what reason actually. I don't know, I've never eaten those eggs and I don't know what they're used for. But I know that the Israelis are hungry for the eggs and they don't get the eggs from the Titans because they don't have semen. And the only male that is left is me. So I need to, preferably give the semen, by masturbating and then take it for the garbage. But if this fails, they allow me to have sex with, in a whole apartment with the Titans. But although with males, because it's extremely important that I will be a bisexual, because that's the way they want it. Because they are all gays and pedophiles, and they also want to rape me, and they've tried many times. Many of them are recorded and documented very well. So no, I disagree. That's not the term that I understand. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be a whore. Never was, never have been. And resisted those attempts for 4 years in Shoam under great mental and physical violence from the neighbors, from the people of Shoam. And I'm not going to do it now under the supervision of my mother. My mother! She, of course, you ask what she will get? She will get more clients to her clinic. Because that's the way it is in Israel. It's not a free market. You get what everything is a privilege from the government. Also clients. And she will get more clients if, the Shabak will tell more clients to go to her. And they will tell her to go to her if she will be my operator, which is excellent from their point of view, because I will stay in Israel, and because I will be a whore, and I will never be able to work, and she will handle the apartment. She didn't say I will give you the money and you will rent an apartment, and it was never on the table. She doesn't give me almost any more money at all, and I will speak about later why she needs to give me money, but she doesn't give me anything. She only wants to control the flow of money from abroad and from the Shabak, and of course to get privilege from the state. So no, I did not rent the apartment. And I did not admit in the case, and now she threatened me, that she will, the next hearing, which should be in a week or so, she will, stop the house arrest, and of course the meaning is that I'm going to jail indefinitely or for at least for a year, without trial. But that's not enough for them here. They want, to prepare for the hearing, to make the case against me, so it's important because after so many months in arrest, draconian as inhuman as possible, they want more proof. So they want me to get out of here. So they invent all sorts of like incredibly sophisticated theater shows, like the Caperucita Roja now. Like I'm going to be assassinated. But a bunch of pedophiles, impotent freaks. No, they're not going to assassinate me. They need a semen because they want to eat the eggs. No, they're only going to torture me. And they do everything they can. And I've already mentioned, a lot of it. There are much more, but that's not the subject of the video. The subject of the video is to speak about the general context of where I live. As I said, but I did not elaborate. But I mentioned it. The last couple of days. So my father and my mother were. לא, אני עסוק. לא, אני עסוק. שקט! Let's speak about my mother. She didn't want to speak about it. That's why she did a terror. Because she wants me to shut up. Which is another prime objective of her. Always make me shut up. Never speak. I should be a slave without a tongue. And if I'm recording a video which is not to the taste of her or anyone else in the Shabbat, she always tries to stop it in any way possible. But no, I will not stop. I am not a slave, and it's my right to speak. I am not a slave. No, I am not a slave. So let's speak about her and my father, Professor Israel David and Dr. Hannah David. Let's make it quick. During the 70s, she was a whore of the Mossad, and like many whores of the Mossad, she engaged in like obscenely exaggerated sexual behaviors, because that's the way they were in the 70s. Part of the sexual revolution, like all of them in the Mossad. They also do it today, but only males and males. The ones that they have dick, many don't. But those who have like a operational dick do it. Males, all of them, everybody, all at once. Everybody, without borders, without limits. So it was something like that during the 70s, but in a heterosexual way. But it wasn't enough for them. So they have eaten, cannibalized titans, like males, especially males, because females are used for other purposes from Venus. That's why there are no more males, because they've eaten them, they've cannibalized them and eaten them, because they've gave them sexual rigor, among other things. But that was the most important in the 70s. So the screwing parties, the orgies, it was just like that, yes, and my mother was one of the participants. Not the only one, there were many, men and women, male and female. That's the way it was. They've eaten human beings like me, from another planet that they take like as slaves. They've eaten them. Literally, it's not a metaphor. They've eaten them in order for them to have more sexual rigor. Yes. And they were punished by God. Many died. Many lost their genitalia. Many, including of course my mother and her husband, can't have sexual relationship for 50 years. Since then, that's reality. This is true. It should be heard. It should be heard. And all of them lost their fertility. Men and women, all of them lost their fertility. Now, at the beginning, many had children, by marrying, by doing it Mel did it, the old-fashioned way, like Bach, Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach. He had 20 children from his only wife. And he also, they said that, according to the rumors, but strongly verified rumors, that he had 20 more, from other women that were sent by their own husbands to have sex with him, because he had many friends that thought that he's going to be a figure, a historical figure. Coincidentally, they were right, because he is, he's still remembered today, J.S. Bach. So they thought, okay, if my wife will fuck him, so I'll have a son, which is this, with the genes Genetics was not known there, so it's anachronistic to speak about genes. But with hereditary of course was known since the dawn of mankind. So I said, okay, I want to raise a child that his father is J.S. Bach. So we had 20 more for women that just did it by their husband's wish. So that was a solution for some. Later during the 90s, they started to do a fertility artificial inseminations of sorts. And you know that Israel is champion in this matter, both from the scientific point of view and especially from the point of view of government finance. Everything that regards fertility and a solution for those who can't have babies. So of course, they have large clientele from this generation. Some adapted. It was difficult to adapt. Today it's much more difficult. Today it's almost impossible to adapt in Israel. Not only in Israel, it's very difficult in the Western world because it's very difficult to adapt. But during the 80s, it was still a possibility. And of course, there was also the possibility of adapting Titan babies, from Venusian babies. I am not one of them because I am not Venusian. I belong to a third species. And there was they just mixed the babies. They thought that they came from Venus, but they don't. But first they adapted. By the way, if you ask what's the rush to adapt babies from the planet that they hate, they have bad memories because they blame them for the loss of fertility and the loss of sexual life. It was for money. They accepted a large amount of money and privilege from the government for it. It wasn't for free, and they still do. 40 years passed and they still get money for it. My mother receives about 77,000 shekels each month for many years, although my father is separate. They are divorced for 30 years now. 7,000 shekels is not, but it's not, the end. They also get a lot of privileges. My father became a professor. I don't say that he's not a legit scientist, a mathematician, but it's extremely difficult to get appointments like this in Israel. And I'm not saying that he does not deserve it. I can take from him the fact that he has incredibly high IQ. He's very smart. He's cool. My father, Israel David, is cool. Like my mother, Hannah David, is also cool. But yes, he's very smart. But it's kind of a privilege to be accepted as a professor in Israel, and he got it. Even though his human relations are which is incredibly important in Israel to get any appointment that is under the state, which of course all professors are. Today it's not exactly but university professors are all employees of the state. So to get you need to excel in human relations and politics, and he's maybe he's good at he does it well as I don't know. I can't I don't know the Predator from the first movie, 1987 Predator. That's kind of human relations that he has. But they owed him, as they owed their mother. So they received large amount of money for decades now. After the first baby, my older brother, that rest in peace, many Titans, he committed suicide, which is very, very common. So my mother wanted to divorce my husband because her husband, like my father, because they didn't get along. But they told her, let's make a deal. And the state told her, wait. You adopt now another one. Don't divorce the man, and then we'll allow you to adopt a human baby, which was her great wish. To adopt a human baby because she wanted a human son or daughter, not a monster son or daughter. So they agreed, my mother and my father, and then they adopted me. which they thought was a Titan baby, but they were wrong. They actually adopted a cherub. Yes, I mean, these are all facts. Yes, just like that. And after that, they adopted a human baby, my like a younger brother, Uri. And then and so shortly after that, they divorced. And since then, they received huge amounts of money from the government. Of course, with that is tunneling money from abroad for bringing us up. And I should say, there were times that it was good, times that it was bad. I'm not going to judge my entire childhood right now. It's incredible. I mean, as many childhoods of many people, it's a complicated subject. I've spoken about it a lot in the past, but it's not the case. It's not the subject now. I'm not going to judge my entire history and or the way that my father and mother treated me through the years, because it's a complicated subject. I mean, there were many ups and downs, and that's not the issue. The issue is that right now, specifically my mother, that received so much money for it, and up to now, she received money now for letting me sleep here. And of course, you know exactly well how I spend my time. I don't get visitors at all. I never watch TV. The only thing I do is conduct research, which is perhaps the most important in the history of mankind, but if not one of the most important. And she knows that. And that is a fact. And that is a fact. And that is a fact. A fact. But she doesn't feel like that this research should be carried on because she doesn't get money from it. What does she care about the next rocket fuel or the next treatment of of chronic diseases, or the shaking of the entire tenets of physics? What does she care, this woman? She wants me to do things that can go through her, so she could, as they say in Hebrew, לגזור coupon, to cut the coupon, to be the middleman in whatever I do, which is preferably a whore for the Shabbat, because she can be the middleman in the best way. That's what she wants me to do. She wants to get a cut of the piece, like everyone else in Israel. So fucking what? If biology is completely, many tenets of biology are shaken and destroyed by this research. Of course, computer science, something that I haven't spoken about, even though it's something that I've learned, studied in university level, and it was my profession, like a software engineer. Physics, which I've spoken about, cosmology, of course, history, including history of humanity, all that are shaken. But why should she care? She wants me to do stuff that she can mediate, so she can get money from. And since I do not do it, and I don't comply with other things that the Shabak wants, like admitting in my trial, in the next hearing, which will be in a week or so, I'm going to jail for I don't know how long. That is the case, and that is the state of Israel. And now I need to go to my room because I cannot be in the balcony for the next hour, according to what she just said.